So right now we're looking at statement 8 of chapter 2. So statement 8 says, in this present time, one experiences the results of whatever one accomplishes. One experiences the results of whatever one does, one accomplishes here. Very technical translation, but basically in this present time, you experience the results of what you do. 2:8 and 2:10 actually closely related. So if you look at statement 10, so skip one statement, it says, in this very life, mainly the karmic results that are phenomena experienced in this life occur. Very literal translation. Basically, it says, in this very life, most of what you experience is the karmic results of this life. So we'll look at that later, yeah? Statement 10. But 8 and 10 is closely related. So the commentary of Khenpo Kunpal for statement 8. Generally, all the happiness and suffering of the present occur due to past actions, generally speaking. But in any case, water comes from the ground you dig, and fire comes from the wood when you rub it. Likewise, it is also the case that through strong diligence in this present time, one will experience the results of whatever actions one accomplishes. Thus, Jigten Sumgun taught that one should abandon laziness and strive with diligence in what is to be practiced and what is to be avoided. This is really addressing, maybe not so much in this new Buddhist culture, but in Buddhist culture in Asia, sometimes people's beliefs or people's understanding of karma, cause and effect, multiple lifetimes, can lead to them being kind of not inspired to act, I just say, oh, this is my bad karma. Yeah, what can I do? Yeah, this is just my bad karma. Or we see something going really well for other people and we're like, yeah, that's their past karma. Yeah, that's why they're doing well. And so as a result, kind of downplay the power of doing something now. So maybe for us, especially US types, from small you have been like, you are special, you are unique, you can achieve whatever you want, you achieve. Then this statement, be careful, okay? Don't get too carried away because it will feed your neurosis, that you can achieve whatever you want, you can make anything happen, be careful with that. This is a context where people have become complacent with this idea of karma. And also, it's telling us to be careful not to understand the Buddha's teachings of karma in a very kind of superficial way, meaning that we think of karma, we're just substituting names. We used to believe that, fate have decided, or God has decided. Then now, we have become Buddhists. We say, we don't use the word fate. We don't use the word God. But basically, we've just substituted fate, God with karma. Be careful not to do that. Karma literally means action. Yeah, karma means action. Moreover, not just any kind of action. In fact, Buddha rejected that. Buddha says karma is a particular kind of action. It's action that has intention behind them. Because there were other people who taught that karma is all actions. Even like lifting a finger, that's karma. And in those systems, they say, because samsara exists because of karma, therefore, as long as we are still acting, even lifting a finger, samsara will be perpetuated. So some of these traditions really believe in, so to get rid of samsara, we go in the mode of not acting. Of course, they are practical enough to say, right now you cannot just stop all actions. So you minimize your actions. You minimize, including minimize interacting with other people, minimize, until the point of minimizing to the point of you don't even lift your hand to eat. And then you don't even eat. And then you don't even breathe until you completely exhaust your karma. That's their belief. The Buddha rejected that. The Buddha says, there is something more basic than karma that leads to the production of samsara. And that is ignorance, confusion. And ignorant confusion is the motivating force for majority of our actions. And so in that way, Buddha says that what these others don't see deeply enough is they only see to the point of actions creating results and therefore perpetuating and reproducing samsara. What they don't see is actually is not just any action. So lifting a finger like this in itself, doesn't create karma. Okay? But if somebody walks up, right, and says, if you want me to kill that person, lift your finger. And you say, now this is karma. Or likewise, if someone says, hey, if you want me to save that person, lift your finger. Oh, now this is karma. Okay? Because it has an intention. So here, coming back to this statement, Jigdan Sungden says, don't become a victim, so to say, of past karma ripening. Accept and understand that when past karma ripens, sometimes it's almost impossible to not experience the result of past karma ripening. But even when you feel like, this past karma ripening is so strong, so powerful, so oppressive, so hard, always remember, you can still do something now that can help alleviate that toughness, that difficulty. And not just, it's my bad karma, it's my bad karma. Yes, recognizing it's my bad karma ripening, that's very good. But it doesn't stop there. It says, if you dig the well, you will get water. You cannot just say, it's my karma, no water here. It's my karma, no water here, No, dig. call the well people to come dig. 200 feet, not enough. Dig 300 feet. 300 feet, not enough. Dig 400 feet. Yes, my karma is such that I have to dig 400 feet rather than 200 feet to get water. But you cannot say, oh, my karma, I have dug 200 feet. Okay, that's it. No more water. No water. So this statement 8, in this present time, what you experience are the results of what you do now. Statement 9, the increase or decrease of time can be influenced in the present. So this increase and decrease of time is talking about, Buddha taught that in general, like anything, even this world, this universe that we live in, it's not like this world, this universe is not static. It's dynamic. It's constantly changing. And overall, there is a pattern in which this universe, in which this world that we live in, that generally you could say it has periods of before this universe came into existence, it slowly evolved over time. So there is periods of increase, followed by periods of decline, which then leads to periods of increase, growth. And when growth has reached its highest point possible at that in that time, then it goes into decline. So there are these small cycles of increase and decline and increase and decline, according to the Buddha's teachings about the evolution of this cosmos, this universe, this cosmology. So there are these small periods of increase and decline. But within the small cycles of increase and decline, there is a general pattern of increase going on. Right? Increase. And then this bigger cycle of increase eventually would reach its height and then decrease. And according to Buddha's teachings, he says that in the far, far, far future, this universe as we know it would completely decline. Now, it doesn't mean that the beings in this universe, so strictly speaking, actually, the Buddhist view of this increase and decline doesn't involve, like Armageddon scenarios. Like, when the universe is destroyed, everyone will burn or no. It does describe burning. It describes very strong winds. It describes like floods. But in those descriptions, at that point, sentient beings are no longer around. That karma has either taken them to higher realms of existence within the cycle, or birth in a different universe. So before it became now like pop culture due to Marvel comics, multiverse, right? Buddha was already talking about multiverse, not universe. But not in the way that the comic, like there's you here, there's you there, you there, you there. No, as in there are multi-universes, one lodged within the other in different dimensions everywhere. So this increase and decrease here is talking about that. So 2.9, the increase or decrease of the cosmos can be influenced in the present. So what's going on here is Jigten Sungön says. So this follows from 2.8. 2.8, right, is addressing the attitude that oh, my bad karma, what to do, nothing I can do, things are bad, You say, no, 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 do, to whatever degree you do to improve your situation right now, you will get those results. Then in the broader picture, Kyopa's 2.9 statement is, even though the external universe, even though your world, so maybe we don't need to talk about the external universe in the abstract, we talk about your neighborhood, your country, your state, even though there's a pattern of decline that you are seeing. Or conversely, a pattern of increase that you're seeing. Know that you can change that. Maybe not necessarily change it for other people, unless you're running for president or mayor or in a big way, but even in a small way, it can be influenced in the present. So the point here is, don't say, oh, I'm living in a time of decline. Nothing can be done. So related to this idea of the decline, Buddha taught, with regards to the Dharma, he says, for the first 500 years, when the Buddha first appeared in the world, achieved enlightenment, gave the teachings for 45 years, passed away at the age of 80, right? So that's, you could say 45 years there, 50 years maybe, right? At that point, Buddha says, for another 450 years, so basically total of 500 years. The first 500 years is known as the age of Dharma. Then for the next 500 years, and in some places they say for the next 1,000 years, so there's some disagreement on whether the second period is 500 years or 1,000 years. It's called the Dharma semblance age. Maybe meaning there's only a semblance of the Dharma. The true Dharma age, that's what is also called the first 500 years, is the true Dharma age. Second period is the Dharma semblance age. Then the next period, some say will last 10,000 years. Some say will last 5,000 years. So there's disagreement. But generally they all agree that there is a true Dharma age for 500 years. Everybody seems to agree on that. True Dharma age for the first 500 years. Then the Dharma semblance age will come in. And then the Dharma ending age. And again, even with those who disagree, whether 500 followed by 1,000 or whatever, majority would agree, you and I now are in the Dharma ending age. Maybe at the beginning, or maybe in the middle, that we're in the Dharma ending age. So in fact, there are forms of Buddhism, especially in East Asia, Japan, especially Japan, to some degree China. Some of the founders of the traditions of Buddhism in Japan, some of them actually believe very strongly that in the 12th century, we entered the Dharma ending age. And in the Dharma ending age, they say, as the Buddha taught, it's impossible to keep the precepts, the vows. It's impossible to achieve meditative results. Therefore, the only thing left to do, then each of them will say, we have to chant the name of Buddha Amitabha and pray to be born in the Pure Land. And so that's the Japanese Pure Land tradition. Comes out of that. There's another Japanese tradition called the Nichiren tradition. Some of you might have heard Nichiren or Soka Gakkai. They also believe now we're in the Dharma ending age. But for them, it's the name of the Lotus Sutra that you have to chant. In Japanese pronunciation, Nam-myoho Renge Kyo. Maybe you've heard that phrase. Some famous people are kind of practitioners of this tradition, like the singer, some of you should know Tina Turner. Then I think a younger actor, Orlando Bloom, I think also. Lord of the Rings, the elf. So some, famous people are also part of this. They believe that in the Dharma ending age, the only reliable practice is this practice or that practice. Kyoba Rinpoche basically says, no. Yes, there is the external Dharma ending age, but if you yourself decide, I'm going to live my life like it's the true Dharma age, then for your purposes and your reality, this is the true Dharma age. Doesn't matter for other people. You have to decide. I have received the true Dharma and I'm going to live according to the true Dharma. Then you have transformed your reality to the true Dharma age. He's really emphasizing, don't become a victim, so to say, right, of your surroundings, of your circumstances, even your karma. Change it. So, Khenpo Kunpal's commentary. When the development of the world and beings was completed, the first eon of existence came, the perfect age with a lifespan of immeasurable years. Then gradually, the ill-behaved sentient beings engage in hoarding and so on, and because of this, the lifespan of beings gradually decrease to only 10 years. At that time, an emanation of Maitreya will teach the abandonment of killing and so forth, and thereby the lifespan will gradually increase, even to 80,000 years and so forth. Thus, the increase and decrease of time, meaning of these big changing patterns, happens due to virtue and non-virtue. And strong virtue and non-virtue can, in the present, influence the increase or decrease. So again, right, this really very strongly says, don't subscribe to it's fated. Nothing is fated. We have to really appreciate and understand what the Buddha taught about karma and change karma. It is like it is said in the White Lotus of Compassion Sutra that incalculable eons ago, when the world system called Samkarshana was in decline and the people could live 80 years, our compassionate teacher, the Buddha, was a strong outcast among them. Since it put all the people under the rule of following the 10 virtues, the lifespans increased to 500 years. So this is talking about one of the past lives of Buddha Shakyamuni. Even though things were in decline, but because he acted with confidence and with skill, he was able to influence the people around him to follow the 10 virtues. And then things changed. Things became better. Moreover, the meaning of the so-called increase or decrease of the Buddhist teachings is explained as people's minds having either a completely pure discipline or distorted discipline. And so here, more directly related to, not only the universe is increasing or decreasing, the cosmos is increasing and decreasing, but specifically the notion of true Dharma age, Dharma semblance age, and Dharma ending age. There, Kyoba Rinpoche says, The world doesn't decide what age it is. If you live according to the principles of knowing what are the 10 virtues, what are the 10 non-virtues, and you make effort to engage in the 10 virtues and to abstain from the 10 non-virtues, then you are in the Dharma. You are in the true Dharma age. Your environment is the true Dharma age. And especially, as we embark on this new project, in a place, trying to build this community, this space that is available for others to come for long or short periods of time, with neighbors, new neighbors who understandably, they have no reason to welcome us with open arms, They have lived there for a long time. Then with new neighbors, and we are the new neighbors coming in. Khenpo Rinpoche always advises, he says, you don't need to talk about Buddhism, much less Vajrayana, all that kind of stuff, he says. He says, don't talk so much, But in interacting with neighbors, in interacting with our family members, let the principle of the 10 virtues and the 10 non-virtues guide you. He says, sometimes we get carried away, mantra and mudra and this and that. He says, even among Buddhists, there are those who don't believe in mantras and mudras. He's like, that's specialized information and knowledge just for the interest of those who are attracted to it. But then he says, but the 10 virtues and non-virtues, those are universal values. Who doesn't like the 10 virtues? Who likes the 10 non-virtues? Nobody. He says, if you live. This is similar to His Holiness Dalai Lama says, like we have common human values of love, of compassion. He says, that's most urgent right now. Of course, those of us who are committed to the Buddhist path, I would say, you study the Buddhist path, all the details, like what we're doing now, like with Gongchik. Don't be lazy. Do that. But as you do that, you should not do this until you get so narrow, that you don't know. Right? And then you get so excited when you see people, I want to tell you about this, I want to tell you about that. No. Don't talk so much. Especially if the talking so much becomes a distraction and we're not practicing the principle of engaging in the 10 virtues, disengaging in the 10 non-virtues. Because that's what's going to change. If our relationship with our family, with our friends, with our neighbors, with our town is going to change, it's going to change on the basis of us making a determination in our interactions with them. We will be guided by engaging in the 10 virtues, disengaging from the 10 non-virtues. Then specifically here, if you think about these 10 things, right? Actually, the most obvious one are the 4 pertaining to speech. The 3 pertaining to actions, we don't have that much opportunity, thankfully. Killing, stealing, and being unfaithful, irresponsible with our sexual behavior. We don't have that many opportunity, you know, most of us. These three things. The three pertaining to mind, very important, but they are inner states, you know. Immediately the impact on others is not so obvious, right? So if we have a mind, so the three pertaining to the mind is to covet and to want to cause harm to others, and the wrong view that karma doesn't matter, actions don't matter. These are the three related to mind, right? But the most obvious one, you know, all the time, the opportunity is there, has to do with speech. Yeah, and so guard these four especially when we are with others. Guard these four especially. So deceptive speech. Don't use deception. Even when you think, you know, it's for a good reason, avoid deception. How do you avoid deception? You don't have to tell people everything either. Yeah? But avoid deceptive speech. Speak less. When you're in a situation where, you know, you feel like you have to use deception, even if you feel like, oh, it's for a good reason, try using silence first. Try using silence. Deceptive speech, avoid. Destructive speech, avoid. Divisive speech, avoid. So divisive speech can even be, you know, like in the context of our family and all that. Sometimes we use dharma to become divisive speech. Be careful. And then among sangha, divisive speech. Be careful. Even it can come in the form of, you know, oh, our teacher asked me to do this, that. You have just engaged in some divisive speech. Fourth one, distracted speech, the most easy of the four. Lack of mindfulness. Meeting new people, blah 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 blah, you know, all kinds of trouble. So in Chinese tradition, we have a saying, you know, sickness come in through the mouth. So strong emphasis on what you eat. And disaster comes out of the mouth. Sickness come in through the mouth, disaster comes out from the mouth. Speech. Atisha said, when you are with other people, watch your speech. When you're alone, watch your mind. Sometimes when we're alone, you know, the mind can go all over the place. Including the mind of like getting caught up in feeling bad for ourselves, feeling down, feeling depressed, all of that. Watch, because when we're alone, those things will We get bored, maybe, we get bored with nothing going on, then we go feed these thoughts, these emotions. So when with others, watch your speech. When alone, watch your mind, particularly. And so it's 2:8 and 2:9. I think this is good for today, and it's good for New Year's message, right? Gilbert Rinpoche gave us these 2 statements today. You want the year to go well? Well, what better advice, Not only you can change your reality now that you don't like, and the reality that you like right now can be easily changed if you're not careful. So on statement 8, statement 9, on the bigger scale, even on the bigger scale, although there's a general pattern, things are going into decline, but don't give up hope. Not hope like just sitting around hoping, oh, I hope, I wish. It's doing something. And know that, if you, interact, relate with each other using the principle of the 10 virtues, avoiding 10 non-virtues, engaging in 10 virtues, disengaging in 10 non-virtues, right? It can only be good, with our family, big or small. Strive for harmony. Harmony doesn't mean, like we may have grown up being taught a type of harmony. Like, care, protect harmony. So but then we've done it the wrong way, because often it means, suppressing your voice, in unskillful, unhealthy ways of like superficially avoiding this harmony. That's not the way to go. But the Buddha did teach us a way to establish harmony, genuine harmony, within our homes, within our neighborhood, within our, world. That harmony is possible, is meaningful, is genuine. When we live with others, if there are conflict, first of all, recognize, like our karmas have brought us together. And so it's not random. So now the question is, moving forward, do we want this karma of mutual harm, or do we want a karma of mutual good moving forward? And also in the present. So then when we strive for harmony, when we give in, we're not giving in because we're being guilted into giving in. We give in as in we let them win, like in the 8 verses mind training says, offer victory to others, right? In the past, when we have offered victory to others, especially if you're Asian, it's a strategy to torture the other person. I joke, I said, like, it took me a while when I first came to live in the US. People said about passive aggressive behavior, and for a long time I was saying, I don't know what they're talking about. Finally, when I understood, I said, oh, you mean being civilized? Like in Asian, we said, it's so crude if you're just aggressive, Nobody who is civilized would behave like that, Oh, but in the US, that's a bad behavior, passive aggressive. But it is true, like the unhealthy letting others win, whether letting our spouse win because we want to manipulate them, or letting our siblings win because we want to manipulate them. uh, that's an unskillful letting our enemies win. But there's the Lojong way of letting our enemies, even enemies. It's not saying you should think of your your family members, your relatives as enemies. It's saying even enemies, you should let them win. This one is a genuine one. This one is based on wisdom and compassion. Recognizing, oh, yeah, the other person is suffering, and I'm suffering, But then the other person don't even know that they're suffering. I know better. I know I'm suffering, and I know that they are suffering, So I'm going to let them win in a skillful way, in a way that is caring. Not just let you win, to get rid, to avoid. All those are unskillful letting the other win. But there's a genuine skillful letting the other win, recognizing that we're equally tortured by confusion. But then you have to rejoice and say, but actually, I have the Dharma now. I have the Buddha Dharma now. It's allowing me to see. So I have to act differently. And they will continue to act how they act because they are still in darkness. And with love and compassion guiding us. And every time we let the other win, right? It comes from a position of power, true power, bodhisattva power. The power to change and to transform our environment based on the principle of the 10 virtues, engaging in the 10 virtues, disengaging in the 10 non-virtues. That's at the heart of our practice. Yes, so this is how we start the new year. It's not overnight, this change, little bit. We say, I want to do this. I want to learn how to actualize this. Now, I want to learn how to actualize this. Yes, of course, right now it's a concept, It's just ideas. But I often have people say, oh, it's easier said than done. That's a useless statement. I actually hate that statement. What's the point of saying that? It's just avoidance. You want to do it, yeah? So you say, oh, that's easier said than done. That is easier said than done also. Stop saying that already. Just do it. Right? Then when it gets hard, then at that time you can say to yourself, yeah, it's a lot easier to say than to do. But that's okay. Of course, it's not easy to do. If it's easy to do, problem solved already. No problems in the world already. That's not the case. Right? So it's also okay that it's hard. We probably fail when we try, but that's okay. Because we tried, we have made a difference. Changchu Samcho Rinpoche Ma Ge Ba Nam Ge Gyurche Ge Ba Nyam Ba Me Ba Yang Go Ne Gong Du Bel War Shou. Okay, ta ta.